Hello and welcome to In the Pocket. My name's Jonny.
And my name's Chris.
Two totally average bass players, and we're here to talk all about that bass, as well as answering your questions at home. Each week we take a look at the latest news and maybe break down some tones, all to give you the lowdown on the low end. Now, as per for today's guest, I of course have to have written a poem to introduce them. And I was very lucky and spoilt today because I feel like today's guest has just got such a unique voice on the instruments and of what they do. It's just mind-blowing to me, I think. And so it made my job of writing this poem very, very easy. So here we go. With modern metal tones, the leave jaws dropped. His hybrid technique proves he's got more than chops. Never notes miss, no room to be sloppy. Catch him live, smashing a dingwall for intervals and poppy. A bass playing king to whom we bend the knee. Give your warmest welcomes. It's Jacob Umansky.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Welcome, my friend. Finally.
I am speechless. That was unbelievable.
What I lack in bass playing proficiency, make up for it in making up poems the day before recording a podcast.
Oh goodness. Wow. I could not be happier to be here, man. Thank you for having me.
Dude, of course. We were just saying before, this is kind of sort of your second time on the podcast, as you were in our kind of download special when I met you. I've seen you guys live on stage, on the main stage at Download Festival at Donington Park here in the UK. And we spoke then, we've got to have you on for a full episode. And now seems a better time than any to have you on at the start of 2026 with literal big things happening for you this year. Chris, this is your first time meeting Jacob as well, wasn't it?
I know Johnny's seen him twice by now, and I'm feeling awfully left out over here. But yeah,
we'll
Jacob,
make up for lost
thank
time.
you.
We'll make up for last time.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't talk to this prick over here. Just talk to me.
Yeah, I'll leave you guys to it. We're done.
Yeah. How do I, Johnny? How do I boot you out of this? I'm just there's supposed to be a button here. Like,
yeah, somewhere. Around here.
Somewhere. Thank you very much for coming on, Jacob. We very much appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember that first time that we met, and I think I spoke when I saw you last. I told you this story, but for the viewers' benefit, I was at NAMM last year at I think it was the Novo booth, and I playing one of their like medium scale basses, and I was like, oh, I've been waiting to play this bass for ages, and I was playing it through this like busted Ampeg combo that they had, and I remember playing this thing and was going, wow, this is some real sloppy playing, Johnny. I really hope that no one is listening to this right now specifically. I turn around. Who's bloody stood there? Oh, one of the best players on the planet. Okay, cool. But yeah, lovely stuff. We're going to dive more into that unforgettable technique of Mr. Umansky. But first of all, we do have some kind of introduction questions for you to answer for us. So if people out there aren't familiar with you, then they can get to know you at least through these questions. The first question of those is, what was your first ever bass guitar?
Oh man. My first ever bass was it was like one of those starter basses, but it was a Gretsch Les Paul bass with like a with like a single pickup. Yeah, dude, I was 7 or 8.
You were in royal blood, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But yeah, it was a Gretsch. It was a Gretsch Les Paul bass, single pickup, and I ended up like having to put like toothpicks in the input jack because it was so like it was shit. But then and then I got like an Ibanez Geo like 2 months later because that wasn't working out, and then I started working with like a bass teacher who's like, we got to get you like a Fender. So then I got like a Fender Mexican jazz bass, and that was like my first real bass. But the first bass I've ever had was a Gretsch Les Paul.
Nice.
We've come a long way.
Yeah, right.
We've come a very long way. So does that mean probably in in about another 20 years, you know how Lee Sklar has the signature Dingwall, but then he's got the Warwick. Am I right? He's got the hollow-bodied Warwick. I feel like when you're Lee's age, you'll still have the exact same, the Stormtrooper Dingwall, but then you'll have this like signature model with Gretsch, which will be short scale, maybe single pickup, just on flats, and for like that's your two bass collection. We've come full circle.
Never say never.
Yeah, never say never. Exactly.
Lee Sklar's only 29. I don't know what you're talking about.
I know. Sorry. Yeah. He's just worked in the music industry for 5 years, and now he looks like that. That's how I feel.
Yeah. The second question, thank you, Jacob. The second one is probably one that I should have prepared you with beforehand because it does trip people up, but I feel like you might be able to smash it. Can you describe your playing in? I nearly did 6 then with two lots of 3. 3 words, please.
Oh God. Aggressive. Focused. And I need one more to bring it home. Oh man, I don't know.
How about percussive?
Yeah, I think like that like lends itself to like the aggressive thing, but percussive.
Okay.
I guess.
Yeah. Fair enough,
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm trying to make like a dating profile right now.
I was just gonna say that. It sounds like an awful Tinder profile.
Aggressive.
Yeah.
This is a photo with my mum. Percussive.
Yeah. No, percussive definitely in there. Focused. I don't know, versatile, I guess that maybe.
Yeah.
Either way, some of those.
I think that is the perfect cocktail of adjectives to use to describe your sound.
Yeah, it's a good Mad Lib.
Yeah, I feel like with like percussive, it's such an interesting term for bass players to always use that because it is literally that amalgamation between the drums and melody in which we're doing. So it makes complete sense.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of the stuff that I do, especially with like the slap stuff, it's not even. Sometimes I won't even think about like the technique. It's more so like how whatever noise I'm making, because like again, a lot of it's like dead notes. So it's like, how does this, like, am I going to rake? Am I going to pop? Am I going to slap? And it can all just vary on like what the drums are doing. So it's very much just like, sometimes you just take notes out of the equation and it's literally just you're doing like percussion. But anyway.
Yeah. And we'll touch more on that specifically later on because I think that's so interesting that, it's more about what you're not playing sometimes, literally when it comes to notes. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. And the third question, please, is why did you decide to pick up bass guitar?
Oh man, it's so not it. So basically,
were you a guitar player first?
No,
I wanted babes.
Listen. No,
and money.
Dude, you listen to my band, dude? No way. No. So the story is when I was like 4. I think Elvis was on the TV, and apparently there's a picture of me where I'm just like sitting on the floor, like that, like watching Elvis do like playing guitar. And and apparently I was like, I want to do that. So my parents say, so I want to do that. And they bought me an acoustic guitar. And then, they bought me some like baby guitar or whatever. And then, a couple of years later I saw Kiss and more importantly, Gene Simmons on stage.
Yes.
I know. And I was like, oh no, I want to do that. Yeah. So they're like, okay, fine. So they bought me my first like acoustic guitar, and I started taking guitar lessons when I was 7. And then I learned that Gene Simmons was a bass player, and it wasn't about like the instrument, or I just wanted to do whatever that guy was doing. And someone told me he played bass. So I told my dad, I'm like, I want to play bass. And he's like, you don't even know what bass is. And I'm like, I want to do it. So after he's like, if you play guitar for a year, I'll buy you a bass. So after about 6 months of annoying the hell out of him, he bought me that Gretsch. And so I guess it was Gene Simmons. But then as I got like tabs and I saw that, again, like nothing wrong with it, but I was looking at the Kiss tabs, and a lot of the songs that I wanted to play, I was playing the guitar parts on bass, and I saw the bass stuff, and it was just like ba ba ba, and I was like, this is cool. I get why this is the bass part, but I kind of want to do more than that. So that's kind of what led me to doing the things I do. But the overall reason I picked up the bass was because of Gene Simmons.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
I'm really getting back into Kiss, like in the last couple of weeks. Like
Whoa.
Kiss were like, I don't know what that was, but wow, for those of you listening,
someone's on a MacBook.
I know, someone's on a MacBook. No, Kiss were the second band I ever saw live ever, and like I've had like a similar experience, thinking, oh, it's so cool, but that's like Johnny. There must be something to this now. This must be 4 episodes in a row. Gene Simmons has come up as like a topic of conversation. We had a big argument, me and Johnny, about we ranked signature instruments, you know, like S tier to like D tier or
the
whatever.
axe bass, bro.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on the axe bass. Me and my dad built one in his wood shop. Yeah, it's not like
I always liked you. I always liked you. And now I know why.
Dude, yeah. Me and my dad, literally, he's a graphic designer. He just he went onto Photoshop. He just cut it out of a piece of like just crappy wood, and then we painted it. We bought like parts like shitty a bass bridge and tuning pegs, and just so I could be a little kid having with an axe bass. But yeah, like because it was before, you know, they were in production or anything, so we just made this little dinky axe bass. But dude, the axe bass goes hard.
Goes hard.
I'm so pro axe bass, dude.
Take that to Sheldon.
Exactly. Johnny was not pro axe bass. I was aggressively pro axe bass.
Dude, you go back to like the 80s, because I'm like a Kiss fan. Like go back to the 80s when he had the axe bass, but it had like the Kramer hockey stick headstock, bro.
Oh man,
yep,
so sick.
Bonus points for that for me.
Yeah,
but, dude, there's ones here with like aluminium necks. I nearly said aluminum.
Oh yeah, that was the I think that was Kramer, and I think what I was talking about was the Charvel one. But yeah, they started out with the Kramer originally built the axe bass, but the first one was like some luthier built him one that was way different than the one that we all know. But yeah, I am an axe bass kind of connoisseur, if you will.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
We can leave it there if you want.
Thank you so much for watching.
We'll see you next time. Tatty bye.
As you can see, I love the axe bass. I just from all the axe basses I have.
Well, I mean, where is that bass now? Does it still exist?
No. Unfortunately.
Damn. You can say like, I like smashed it, literally used it as an axe and smashed it.
Well, it was one piece of wood, and we strung it up. And after like months of just this one piece of wood having bass strings, it just kind of went
folded.
Oh no!
It's a travel instrument now.
Yeah.
It's one of those travel basses.
Yeah.
Wow.
But anyway, that's my story.
Hell yeah,
dude,
Johnny, please change the subject, because I will go full Kiss hyperfixation, and then we'll get nothing done. So move on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's move on let's talk about some of your other influences then. I mean, because I feel like this genre and that style and your hybrid kind of picking technique. Let's go back to the origins of that, because I feel like it is pretty unique. The sound and voice that you've developed on the instrument. So talk us through how that first started happening. Is it due to that, playing bass like a guitar?
No, not at all. I started off like the slap stuff. I didn't like. I'm 31 now. I haven't done.
It's a great age. A great age.
That's a good one.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. But I started slapping and getting good at it. Like it wasn't until like my late teens, like early 20s. And it just kind of came from, I guess, just the music that I had been playing, because I started out in tech death, like playing like technical death metal kind of stuff. And, I guess with a lot of the fast tremolo picking runs, it kind of lended itself to like how am I going to double the guitar? So I was watching guys like, you know, Tosin and I just watched like Victor Wooten, and I'm like, okay, cool. So I can kind of do this tremolo picking thing. And but what ultimately kind of took me to that, again, got me to that sound was the way I hit the string when I do fingerstyle stuff. Like, you normally like play bass like this, like to kind of have Jocko do it. But when you do the like play metal, you kind of like go through the string, like more like that.
You come down and it's the Geddy Lee kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Which is, so it was that, and trying to find a way where I can get my slap technique to sound like that. Because a lot of the stuff that I do, like, you know, you're switching through techniques, but ultimately you want like the velocity to sound consistent. So that's kind of how I kind of, my thought behind the whole thing was like doing all these different articulations, but getting it to sound consistent in terms of like velocity and stuff like that. But yeah, I think, I don't know, it just kind of came from like, I don't know. I listened to a lot of like Marcus Miller. I listened to a lot of Dirty Loops, and ultimately I just like heard that in the context of, you know, fusion and R&B, and thought, okay, like a lot of this stuff can be applied to what I'm doing because it's fast and it's rhythmic and it's percussive. So yeah, that's kind of how it happened. But I started with death metal and trying to just play fast. And then I got the Intervals gig, and just hearing that music, honestly, I wasn't doing that. I was doing some slap and double thumbing, but I didn't like the Intervals gig kind of like led me to what people know me for. And then things just kind of got out of hand.
I'm trying to dial it back since.
But yeah, I think a lot of people know me for like the intervals, the stuff I do with intervals. And yeah, I think it just came from trying to apply, like I said, a lot of the like the Victor Wooten stuff, the Marcus stuff, Henrik Linder stuff. But yeah, but at the end of the day, like I'm just a bass player, you know, like all those party tricks are cool, but if you can't implement them in a way that's like musical or like serves the song as a bass player, then I won't use them.
Yeah, but I feel like
this is the thing. Yeah, if you did that over the course of like, I don't know, a wedding gig or something, if you did like what we would call that stereotypical Jacob Umansky, like, you know, really aggressive, like percussive slap playing, people be looking at you. Keyboard players going to be looking at you, going, "What the hell is this guy doing?" Like, yeah. So you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right there.
Yeah, there's a time and a place for all that stuff. And yeah, you'll like, there's interval songs where like I won't like, I think it's funny because I'll get hit up for like session gigs and for like instrumental guitar stuff or metal stuff, and they're like, oh, we want you to do your thing, you know, do the Jacob thing, which is like do slapping, do whatever crazy stuff. And sometimes I just won't, because the song doesn't call for it, and I'll just kind of I'll just play how I play, and they're like, oh dude, that sounds so sick. It's like, yeah, it's just, you know, it's not about playing like complicated. It's just, it's the same thing with like all the pop stuff. It's just like serving the song, you know, like if the song requires me to do some crazy slap stuff, I will. But a lot of the times, like a lot of artists, like they'll get hit up to do all this crazy stuff, and I won't do what they're like, oh, I want you to do this thumping thing here, I want you to do this, and I won't do that because the song doesn't need that. But the artist will be like, oh yeah, this came out great, because it's like, yeah, like you just didn't need that. But like the stuff that I'm adding, like I'm adding other things to it. But yeah, that's not always the case. Sometimes I will go nuts, but yeah, it's all about context, man.
And restraint as well, because some people,
that's a good word. That's
great power, you know, becomes great responsibility, because otherwise, you know, you, like you said, you could blow your load over everything.
Right.
Really on fire today, aren't I? Bloody hell. You could absolutely go hell for leather on any track that anyone sends you, but you're like, well, you know, if the song doesn't need it, then that's fine. And there's something to be said for, like, you know, there'll be certain songs that I know that I'll be like, oh, I really like this one particular note and the way that they played it on this track, or like this one hammer on here that just it's so simple but sounded so great in the context of that song. And it's
right.
And almost like that ability is, you know, is so important, like you've just demonstrated there.
I guess the last thing I'll say on that is, like, I won't change things just for the sake of changing them. Like like a lot of the times, like Aaron will with intervals, he'll send me a bass, like programmed bass or something, and I'll think, oh, that's cool. Like I don't really need to do much there. And I think there's something to be said about like just having the, not having the ego about it and just being like, no, that's the bass part. I don't need to like add my thing there. It's good the way it is, So yeah, having the, like you said, restraint to just kind of let it sit, definitely, it's definitely a big thing, because there's a lot of like music out there now where that doesn't happen, and people are it's just riff soup, or it's just, and you lose the magic.
Yummy.
You lose. Yeah. No, dude. It's like it's not. It's not like a Long Island iced tea where you pour all the drinks in there and
put everything in there. And
and it doesn't taste like iced tea. But
no.
Yeah, there's definitely, you lose like the musicality of it. So yeah.
That's such a good point, by the way. You're just saying about how Aaron from Intervals might send you something, and he's sort of giving you that as like okay, what do you think of the bass part? And it'd be like maybe a program thing or a scratch part that you might have recorded. I think there's a lot to be said, especially as like a bass player in a very guitar-driven environment, to sort of go, yeah, it's fine. Like I've been in previous bands that I've been in where the guitarist has written that, he's programmed a bass part and gone, here you go, like what do you think? Do you want to change it? And I've listened to the guide track and gone, no, we don't need to change anything there. Like this is fine. Anything I would bring to the table now could potentially spoil the balance what we've got going on here. Like everything is fine. Question though, have you ever had it where you talked about then about sort of being session gigs, recording for someone, and they've wanted you to sort of go very stereotypical on the track, like do the Jacob thing, that kind of thing, and really go for it. Have you ever had it where you've done what you mentioned, where you've gone, no, I'm not going to do that, I'm going to do this. This section just requires good bass playing. It doesn't require some silly, tap sweep lick. And then have they come back to you with revisions and gone, why did you not do the Jacob thing? Like we could have got a normal bass player in. Have you ever had the opposite of that interaction,
where they're asking me like they're asking me?
So they've sort of said, we've booked you for you.
Yeah. Well,
we wanted that's not enough. There's not enough you in this. The answer's probably no, because good playing is good playing.
Yeah, honestly, no. I've the most it's been is I'll just send it in an email. I'll be like, hey, I know you wanted this here, but I was kind of hearing this. If you want me to take another stab at it, but I'll normally, like when I get a request like that, I'll spend I always spend a lot of time on the stuff I'm working on, but like I'll normally like really, listen for things. Cause if someone's paying me to like do a thing and I'm telling them I don't really want to do it, I need to have a reason to back that up. But yeah, it's never really gotten to the point where like, no, do this, cause but a lot of the time
that changes today.
That changes today.
No, a lot of the time it's to be honest, when I get hit up for that stuff, it's usually me being like, hey, this section's kind of open, I'm gonna fuck around with it, and then I'll do the thing to it, and a lot of the time people like it. I don't know.
I mean,
but
but
that's how it goes with intervals. Like Aaron will either send me like a verse, and like the second half of that verse, it'll just be the chords, or the guitar melody will be kind of simple, I guess less notey. And before I get going, I'll be like, hey, I'm gonna try something here, and then I'll send it to him, and he'll be like, oh yeah. Or he'll say,
I was hoping you'd do that. Yeah,
exactly. Or he'll hit me up and be like, hey, there's a 2-bar space here, I need you to do your thing. So that's kind of how we work. And that is but that's a good question.
It's collaboration in the truest sense. They want you for your ideas, not just like your technical proficiency.
Exactly.
All over it.
Exactly. There's got to be, it's got to be serving the song. It's got to be musical. It can't just be like, I want people to see you showing off. You know,
Yeah,
it's not,
exactly.
that's not what it's about. And a lot of things I see on the internet are kind of about that these days, and it makes me upset.
Yeah, well, it can be difficult, that, isn't it? I think it's like what you said about Nam, Johnny. You know how you were sat just playing normal bass playing, you know, just on a shop on a shop floor, just trying stuff, and then you see like someone like Jacob or someone else like a big name or a big sort of internet personality or someone who's known for chops. I think you can very quickly go, oh, well, I can't do any of that. But 99% of what we all do as bass players is not chop related.
Yeah.
You know, like I play in wedding bands full time, and I think someone's asked me to take a bass solo once in 5 years. And that's not what being a bass player
maybe
99% of the time is.
Let's try and change the narrative of what chops means, because I learned recently, and this is showing my age, and our age, because someone was like, someone in work to me said, "Oh, you look tired. Man's looking chopped." They said to me, and I was like, "What?" And then I learned that chopped means ugly or like,
oh wow, okay,
yeah. So now, if anytime you hear chops, just be like, that's bad.
We're too old. We're too old now. Like,
I definitely operate like me and a lot of some other bass players you might like classify me with. Like, we operate in this small niche space in the metal world where, like, you know, a riff that one of my guitar players could write could just be chops. You know what I mean? But it's musical behind it. It's just technical. But it's. I see like comments, like, you know, from a majority of the stuff, like comments on my YouTube videos are good, and that's, you know, it's really nice to read. But there'll be somebody who will comment something and be like, "Oh, this is just like too many notes," or it's not musical, or he's like, he's not playing bass, and like it was on this the last thing I saw was like a video for our song Mnemonic, and the line I'm playing is just like ba banana. Banana. It's like just hits, you know, like I believe a boomer would call those root notes, you know. So it's like it's just so it's I'm playing bass, you know. It's just the song itself is busy, you know.
And you are serving the song. The song is busy, and so
that's the thing. So it's and I don't like respond to that stuff, but it just gets. I'm like, dude, like, that's the song. Like, that's just what needs to be there. I'm not doubling the guitar every time. But yeah, it's a weird space to operate in. And it's funny when like outsiders will kind of get a glimpse of it, and, you know, it's never like a medium response. It's either like, this is so cool and like, holy shit, or like, too many notes, Jocko only needed 4 strings, blah 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 blah. I'm like, okay, like,
we can relate there.
Dude, like, sure, I'll rip Portrait of Tracy for you too, don't worry, you know. Whatever.
We've started a segment on the show that's going to be all about hate mail, basically, because
exciting,
because we get
it bad,
but for the opposite reasons.
Exactly. But neither of us are very, like, I know we're trying not to use the word chops anymore, but I don't consider myself a choppy player, like, at all. Like, I'm a tight, proficient, normal bass player. Like, lock in with a drummer, learn the song properly, fills are kept fairly to a minimum. But that's just because that's just the environment I've needed to, like, adapt into, which is very interesting when you move into social media, because whilst stuff like that, aka can you just play solid root eighth notes for 3.5 minutes, you know, just dun 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 dun, just nice and consistent, nice and almost boring. That's what you do, like, out in the wild as a bass player. But then you come onto the internet, and that's like, no one wants that, because it's almost like, well, people do want that. People say, like, it's nice to see actual bass playing, but that doesn't get the clicks. Like, that doesn't quite get the engagement. Like, if I do that, but then say someone like you, Jacob, or another more technically proficient player than myself rips like a 6-string tapped arpeggio thing, you would assume the second one would get quite a lot more views than the
But
first
also,
one. But it's very interesting, isn't
like,
it?
It's think about it like singers as well. Like singers aren't there imitating other people's. I know this is slightly different, but imitating other people's voices. We have our own voices on the instrument, and it's like that's the flavor that I bring into this world and this community.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you know. So there it is. You know, it doesn't have to fit what you like. People on the internet,
exactly.
You know, and I think that is art at the end of the day. You know, we are art, guys.
And I think we truly. And I think what kind of separates us is like we go out and do the thing live. Like it's this one thing where it's like you have these people doing the thing on the internet and it's cool and it's choppy and it's exciting, you know, whatever. But like we do that, we get to go on stage and bring energy to it. It's not just guys in their bed. Like, you know, I'll post my videos and stuff like that, but I get to go and like do that stuff live, and that's kind of what makes it special for me. Like if that's my motivation, all of it is like, and that's what's cool with intervals too, is like the whole thing is with Aaron is like it's built for the live show. It's not built for clicks, which is why I like it and I continue to work with the band. And they're my best friends in the world. But like the reason why I love the music so much is because it's technical. It's well written songs, but it's built to play live. You know?
No, that's absolutely fine. Swear away, please. Like, how did that initially come up then with Aaron and with Intervals? Did you know them previously, or did you come across each other?
So I was at Berkeley, and which is a music college in Boston, and I auditioned for this band on Long Island where I grew up, and I got in with them. Some of them knew Aaron through just like the metal scene. And when my band was touring, we played some shows in Canada. We got like tacos with Aaron, and then he saw my band play. And it was when Aaron was doing like the Pliny Intervals tour. And so they were like, Aaron was playing with Pliny and Pliny was playing with Aaron. So it was like they were sharing a band. And my band opened for them. And Aaron's like, oh, you guys are sick. Like, do you want to open for us for a couple shows? So we did. Aaron saw me play and was like, this isn't like my band. I have a bunch of touring that I'm doing next year, and I'm putting together like an actual like live band. Like, I might hit you up if you're down. And I was like, yeah. So it was my last semester. So it was my last semester of uni, and I made a couple of videos, and he asked me to make like one full song. And he's like, yeah, I'm doing a Europe tour in the fall. I'm doing like a Canadian tour with Northlane over the summer. Like, and so I auditioned. I told the desk job that I had lined up after college that I could no longer do it. And so that's kind of how it happened. It was through a band that I was in before. They knew Aaron, and now, that's kind of
the rest was history.
That's what they say.
Nice. And I know we previously said, because obviously now you're or the touring player for Poppy as well, which, you know,
I don't play with Poppy anymore, but I had to, so it was a thing where I auditioned, and after my audition I was like, hey, I can do, because initially I was supposed to do one show with her over the summer and then maybe do part of her fall tour, because I auditioned and I told them like, hey, I have a tour that overlaps with your fall tour. Just letting you know, like, I'm happy to do the gig over the summer and whatever you need me to do, but like I have a prior commitment that it was with Intervals, and just the timeline, I wouldn't, it would basically be like I'd have to fuck over the Intervals guys, and I wouldn't do that. So
fair enough, you know.
Yeah, so it was basically like I was supposed to do one show with her over the summer, and it happened where the bass player that she had planned to do her Europe tour over the summer didn't work out. So I flew in with like a week's notice, and they're like, hey, can you actually do this whole Europe leg? So I flew in, learned all the songs in a week. And I was like, yeah, I love the gig. Again, I just can't do this vaulting. And her management was totally understanding. And they're like, look, we might just have to get somebody else then to do this gig. And, that's kind of how it works. I was like, yeah, I totally understand. So yeah, it was great working with her. She's awesome. Her whole crew's awesome. But it was just a thing whereas like I would have to fuck over the Intervals guys, and I would have also had to miss NAMM, and which would have which my bass was coming out. So it was just like a whole scheduling conflict. But yeah, it was really cool working with them, and like, you know, maybe we'll do it again maybe I'll play with her again one day. But like, it was a great time.
Yeah, and you look like you're having a great time when we saw you playing live as well.
It was super cool. It was super cool.
That was awesome. You mentioned NAMM briefly just then. I want to swing the conversation now to a bit nerdier about gear, because of course you have just launched your first signature, the Soul, inspired by the Z3, through Dingwall. Of course, who else was it going to be? We were talking briefly before we started recording, and congratulating you on that release. It's been a long time coming. Can you talk us through again, please, that process and the reasoning behind some of the decisions that you made?
Yeah, absolutely. So in 2019, I had I played a Z3 for the first time, and before that, I had, you know, just been playing the NGs, and that was kind of the sound. And then I played the Z3, which had the 2J pickups, and that kind of lended itself to more of my sound with, like, you know, the slapping stuff. It was a little less nasally, a little less like Warwicky. And I fell in love with that sound and just the overall body shape and neck shape of the Z. So at NAMM 2019, I was like, hey, how do I like get one of these? And I was fortunate for them to just be like, just email us, we'll figure it out. And then I figured out the finish and everything, and they built it for me, and it immediately there were like comments being like, oh, is this like your signature? Is this that? I'm like, it's just my bass. But it got me thinking, and I guess it got the Dingwall guys thinking. And so the next NAMM, I just kind of had the thought where, you know, Dingwall has the combustion, which is like kind of like the cheaper alternative to like the Afterburner, which is one of their flagship custom shop bases. But there was no alternative to the Z3, and you know, I thought, okay, well, maybe that's kind of what we do with mine. And I pitched that to Sheldon. And this was NAMM 2020. And so obviously COVID happened and a bunch of stuff happened in between there, but that kind of got the wheels moving. And my whole idea was that I wanted to make this more affordable version of the bass that I fell in love with. Obviously with a couple of tweaks, but they were super supportive and, you know, kind of guided me through the whole thing. But yeah, that's kind of how it happened. But we've added some cool things that have previously been exclusive to the custom shop, which is really cool. Like I can go into detail with it, but like so we changed the neck shape a little bit, which was really cool because, like, you know, I fell in love with the Z neck shape, and I was kind of afraid to be like, hey, there's things I like about this neck too. Can we? And they're like, oh yeah, we can just like carve you a new neck shape. So we like shaved off a millimeter off of, we started off with the Afterburner neck shape because I like thicker shoulders on the sides of the neck. And then we thinned out the back to be the same thickness as the Z. So you kind of get this I guess D neck shape or U, whatever. So it's a brand new neck shape, and the Z3 body, we modified it a little bit. We added a couple new little cutaways and bevels just strictly because I thought it would look cool. Like, just, I wanted it to, you know, it's a Z at the heart, the body is a Z, but there are things that I like where it's like, this is my signature bass. I want to do a couple little things for me. And of course, I was lucky enough to design it along with the head of the custom shop, Paul Hilliker. So anytime I had a suggestion, I would we would go on FaceTime or Zoom, and he would show me like the 3D renders. And, you know, and I every time I would make a suggestion, I would be sure to be like, hey, does this work with the design language of the bass? And so we changed the body a little bit. We moved the volume knobs into a different type of cluster. That way they don't get in the way when you do double thumbing stuff. So there's the custom shop pickups, which have never been put in in a mass production bass before. Oh, really? And then there's also the compound fretboard radius, which has never been put on a mass production Dingwall before. So there's a lot of firsts on this one. So it's, you know, a lot of firsts. So it's really cool that they kind of picked me to do this, and I'm super grateful for it. And yeah, it's been super cool. We took the inlays, which were kind of like this pattern where it starts at I saw you guys talk about this, and you guys grossly overthought it.
Oh, really? Because I was going to ask you that.
Yeah. So here, it's literally just they just
I feel like in any second Jacob's gonna come through this door at my house.
So it's just a pattern. It just goes like that.
It's just pretty.
It's on the first Z3 they built me, they have this inlay. They're called Speedo bars. So it just has an inlay where it starts at the 24, it goes down to the 12, and then goes back up to the first fret. So just and these inlays we couldn't mass produce, so we kind of just took them and made the dots a little bit bigger. And but yeah, there has nothing to do with like putting my hands anywhere. It just looks.
It's hilarious to think that a player like you would need the dots as like a guide to be like, oh yeah, I need to be able to see the dots, otherwise I don't know what.
I just thought it was funny. I'm like, these guys are thinking way too much. Like there's little things that I added into the bass. Like I added this little so we put these cutaways here just because I like them, and then we changed we added this little cut thing in the back here, and I got a bunch of questions about it, and it was literally just because
bass as well. They're
deceivingly they're super sleek, but it's literally because all my favorite guitars have this little like swoop thing in the back, and I just thought if I'm going to do a signature bass, I kind of just want that. So there's a lot of things like the neck, the knob placement, some things with the body that are, for, playability. But there are some things where I'm just, I just think it looks sick,
Yeah, and it does.
Thank you.
The finish with because obviously it's almost like it's got like a black border to it with the way that the finish the top sits on it. And it makes the body look, visually, it makes it look like it's slightly smaller than it actually is compared to a full one with a finish over the full thing, which I think really helps when, of course, you've got the 6-string version as well, which is going to be massive. And so, like little things. I mean,
they're not even that they're not that. That's the big thing is when people play Dingwalls for the first time, especially like the 6, like they're not that massive. It's a 6-string fan fret instrument. It's not going to be, a little Gretsch Les Paul, but
unfortunately, no.
But yeah, the first, every time people play them, the first thing I hear is like, oh wow, it's like manageable. Yeah, because I'm not like the biggest dude in the world. I don't have giant hands. I'm not, I'm 5'8" on a good day. So. But
welcome to my fucking world.
Yeah. but yeah, they're super playable. They're really thin, and the Dingwall guys absolutely crushed it. The fact that because I just got the one I just showed you the actual Soul, the one, this is the first production sample. I just picked it up yesterday, and so I've just been messing around with it all morning, and it's just. I've been like doing the A/B thing where I'll play this one, and then I'll go to the prototype that they built in Canada, and I'll be like, okay, what feels different? And it's they absolutely nailed it. It's awesome.
Amazing.
Cool.
Yeah,
very cool.
Quality is incredible.
Out of curiosity, just quickly, what's the scale length of the C string, the high C? What does that go low? Does that go not lower? Is it less than 34?
Yes, I think it's like 33.5 or 3 or something like that.
Hang on.
Yeah, I just couldn't remember if it was.
My research is telling me 33.25.
Oh, I was so close, dude.
So I was close.
Cancel the run.
Yeah.
Cancel.
Yeah. But also Dark Glass preamp, obviously in there. But
yeah.
But yeah, I think that's everything else. But yeah, it's really crazy. Like. When you're a kid, you kind of. My thing was when I was younger, I was obsessed with Avenged Sevenfold, and I was obsessed with Sinister Gates, their guitar player, because he was like the first like musician. Where I know. He looks dope, and he plays real sick shit. and he's got a really cool signature guitar. So like those were like the three things where I'm like, okay, well now I don't know about the first two things, but I have a signature guitar. So
I could talk for ages. Like I used to love Avenged Sevenfold as well. Still listen to them, but not of like none of the new stuff like at all. It's all like City of Evil, self-titled, Nightmare. That pinstripe Schecter was so cool.
Well, that's the thing. Like I was always obsessed with like black and white guitars, which is kind of like
it makes sense.
I know this isn't like it's not like pinstriped, but a big like the main inspirations were like Venom from Marvel, Anti-Venom, and like if you look at like a 1980s like Lamborghini Countach, like the white one, and then like the Sinister Gates thing was a big kind of in the back of my head, but yeah, that's growing up, you're just like having a signature guitar would be cool, and it still hasn't like really hit me. I think it'll hit me once I see people playing them that aren't me.
Sure. Or you go into have you seen it in a oh no, it won't be properly out yet. Like when you see it in a store, like you're on tour and you go into a Guitar Center or something and you're like, oh my god, it's there on the wall.
Guitar Center is going to be full of them used,
all these warranty issues.
No, the cool thing was like I was able to
pick one off the rack and the action's like this high.
Damn, dude. But the cool thing was like having my grandpa be able to like go on like Sweetwater and I'll be like, hey, just type in our last name, and he could just find it. It's cool. It's a really cool.
That's very cool.
It's a really cool moment.
That's so nice.
Cool.
Well, I think we should take this time to have a quick listen to it, shall we? We're gonna have a listen to it, and then we'll maybe talk about some of the tones that you're able to produce out of it and how you go about it. So let's have a listen to it in action right now. Damn! Of course, I expected nothing less. Sounding incredible on the Z3. Straight into, that was the anagram we were listening to there. Talk us through your experience with that and how you go about crafting a tone and the processing that happens after your fingers and then after the bass.
Yeah. So the big thing I do, whether it's with the anagram or sometimes, I mean, with intervals, everyone's on the fractals. So it's a very similar signal chain, but the big thing is doing this split tone thing where you can take, with the dark glass, you're taking, I think this distortion circuit I'm using is called like the entropia, where it's like this parallel distortion circuit where I'll just cut out I'll do like a top row where I'll cut out all the high end information or the low end information. So you just get all this like gritty, tinny high end. And then on the low end, the other row, you'll just cut out all like the opposite. And then you use a cabinet, compression, and then you mold them all together. And you use a merge. I think it's called a merge block. And then you can kind of like have like a lot of control over this distortion thing. So you get like a really nice, punchy, focused, distorted tone. And what I'll do is when it comes to like a clean tone, I'll turn off the top row, so it gets rid of all the high end. So then you just get this nice, punchy, focused low end for your clean sound. And so the way I'll do that on the anagram is like I'll have one scene per song. So I have like, a scene with the distortion, then I'll have a scene with like my chorus, which is what is at the front of the block. And then I'll have a scene where I turn off the high portion of the entropia. And then that's just, that's for my clean tone. But that's kind of how I ran on the anagram. The way I do it live, there's a couple ways, because I have like a clinic rig where I'll just use like the Neural Quad Mini, and I could just use the parallax for that, because that's normally what I do in the studio is I run the parallax and some other processing stuff. But live, my main thing is I do that thing on the Axe or the Fractal where you do the split tone thing where so there's 3 rows on this one because you could do a little bit more on the Axe Effects. But you start out with the top row, and I use for my distortion a guitar amp. I think I use the the PV 5153 blue, or no, EVH 5153 blue. So that's a guitar amp, sick guitar amp. Shout out EVH. And then I'll use like a British cab, and I'll again take all the low end off, and then second row I'll use like an Ampeg SVT, then cut out all the high end, blend all that, use again, just whatever cabinet, and then put all those together. That goes to my output. And there's obviously like compression and like EQ going on in there, but like the meat and potatoes is that split thing. And so that'll go out to like output 1. So I have impulse responses going to my front of house. But then if we have cabs on stage, what I'll do is I have 1 row where before the signal hits the impulse response, I'll do another row, and then I'll go to like output 2, and then that'll go to a power amp on stage, and that'll feed our cabinets. And normally what I'll do is before it goes into output 2, I'll put like a parametric EQ. That way I can EQ the cabinets to kind of match what's coming out of front of house. Yeah. And the last thing I did, which is something I've been doing only like the last year, is so at the front of my signal I have a compressor. So after that compressor, before it hits any distortion, before anything, I go to another row, and that's just process DI. So that way, because I do a lot of like, you slap, pop, thump, blah, blah, blah. And when you do like a high gain tone, even if it is like super focused, those articulations can sometimes get a little lost. So having a process DI blended in there kind of brings out those transients. So the listener in the crowd can maybe hear like, whoa.
They can hear that.
They can hear that. Holy shit. Sorry, that was my...
I heard that. Wow.
Yeah. Sorry, dude. I think my pedal fell. Yeah. Oops. Anyway.
A $6,000 custom Z3 has just gone flying across the room.
Oh, my wireless pedal.
One of one.
Yeah, anyway, we're back. But yeah, so basically what I do is I blend in a process DI. That way you can hear all the, little slap, poppy, all those kind of bits that I'm doing.
Yeah, and
so
that's brilliant.
Go on, Johnny. Go on.
No, Chris. After you.
How dare you? Okay, I will. So that's four sort of channels of output, isn't it? Have I got that right? No, because
no, just 2.
No, because the EVH and the SVT.
Yeah, so it's
one
two,
output,
yeah. So it's so you have a split signals where
that's your heavily processed crossover style.
The crossover. Yeah, the crossover is all going to one thing. The split happens before you hit the impulse responses, and that goes to output 2. Yeah. And then, but the DI is being sent to both those signals.
Oh, so the DI. Oh, I'm sorry. So the DI is being sort of blended. You're seasoning in a bit of DI
exactly
into both of those things. So here's a question.
Really great.
That is very. I'm literally in my head. I'm scheming, going, well, if I did that, I could do that too. But I need to do this and this and this. And instead of practicing for my next gig, I'll just spend 2 hours doing that instead, because that's better.
Yeah.
So why what I think is the answer to this question is logistical convenience, or the fact you just got to this first. Why are you using the Axe effects for the sort of fractal product for all of the intervals live things, but then we've seen you with the Dark Glass Anagram, we've seen you using Parallax. I'm sure you'd be able to, well, especially now, you'd be able to run Parallax through either the big quad cortex. We've seen you with the OG quad cortexes, of course, but also the new one. Why have you stayed with the fractal ecosystem as opposed to just going all in on kind of like the neural stuff?
Sure. So Intervals has always been a fractal band, and
I thought it would be that.
Yeah. So and I had been using the Dark Glass stuff, and when I wanted to move over to a modeler, it just made the most sense to where if we're all going on tour, everybody has the same thing. That way we travel with a redundancy rig. So if my Axe FX or my FM9, shits the bed, I have all my presets on my computer. I can just upload it to that unit. So it's just a convenience thing. The anagram just came out, so I haven't had a chance to mess around with it in a live setting. And again, with intervals, it's a big if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And with neural, my whole tone, since I've been doing the thing, has been either the dark glass stuff or the parallax. So my whole thing with the live, because I was playing live and trying to emulate this parallax tone before the QC, before I was using the Axe FX. So the parallax is just my go-to plugin for live. For the studio. And the quad stuff, when I'm doing clinics and stuff like that, it's just easier. I think I might be doing some stuff in Asia in a couple months, so I'll just put the quad mini on a board with an expression pedal and just put it in my backpack. But yeah, the neural stuff's great. I love everyone who works at that company. But with intervals, it's just Aaron's a fractal guy, and I love my FM9. I just have, it's a kind of a thing where it's I have homies who work for these guys. I have homies who work here. I want to be able to use all of it. I have my own project that's coming out later this year, and when the time comes to play shows, we might use the quad stuff. I'm not sure yet, but it's all just with Poppy. Jonny was on an Axe FX, so I use the fractal for that too. That's kind of how I dictate it. But neither is better or worse. I might not take the anagram out just because I haven't had a chance to properly take it,
dial it in.
Put it through its paces, but you could I just got one from my buddy who's doing a crazy big tour. So, but yeah, it's all just a situational thing. It's not really one's better than the other.
Yeah. What you should do to please all your friends is to please all your friends, you should just use all of them at once.
Yeah, dude.
Just, this is the anagram. It's doing just the one EQ block at the end.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah,
we're talking everything. So we need.
It's just the guy who just can't say no to his friends. He's just
one channel of HX Stomp.
That's the tuner.
We'll have a Tone X in there as well, because why not?
All
three iterations of the. All three iterations of the Quad Cortex, Mini, Nano, and Full Fat one. The important part is not the Kemper. Fuck the Kemper. Anyway, moving on.
I've never used a Kemper. I have nothing bad or good to say.
I used to have a Kemper. I gigged a Kemper relentlessly for years.
Dude, I'm Switzerland when it comes to modelers. I'm just if you give me something and it sounds good and you're nice to me, if you're nice to me, mostly that's what happens.
Well, it goes a long way,
Yeah, but no.
A long way. The Kemper's really good. It doesn't have, from a bass player's perspective, does not have the kind of you can't do. I tried for ages. You can't do a crossover thing.
That's the big thing.
Unless you captured it somewhere else, but then you've got no. You're not compressing one part of the signal and not compressing the other, or a different way.
Right.
You've got no wiggle room.
You don't have that. But when I used to use it, you could get a really good capture or profile of an SVT into an 810 that's been done somewhere else, and you load that up and go, oh, that's a really good source tone to work with. But it's not a good creative platform. That's how I describe it. It's not like, you take something like the Quad Cortex or to a slightly smaller degree, because it's a smaller unit, the anagram, or something big like the Axe FX, where you could literally look at it and go, I could do whatever I wanted right now. Whatever I wanted. Tonally, routing, everything. I've got complete control over this sonic landscape. You can't do that with a Kemper, and that's why it's not as good for bass players, I think.
Okay,
anyway, Jonny, you were saying.
No, that's quite all right. I was pretty much done with the point I was going to make. I think, chaps, that this is a lovely point in the podcast to give a shout out to the people that keep the lights on here. And that is our Tier 3 Patreon members. We're going to give a shout out to each of those lovely people. But first, Chris, would you do us the honor in telling us and the audience what you can get at all 3 tiers at our Patreon?
Oh my goodness, I'd love to. He does it every week and somehow gets it wrong. So here we go. Let's try again. So we have 3 different tiers here on the In the Pocket Patreon. The first one is just a little thank you, a little cash injection from you to us. It starts from $1 or £1. You don't get anything for that, but a little goes a long way. Like we said, it helps keep the lights on. I've got 4 pointing at me in this room. Johnny's got about 19,000. Jacob looks great. He doesn't need any additional lighting. So a little goes a long way. Thank you very much. Tier 2 grants you access to our Patreon only section, which we'll be jumping into once we finish this main episode. For today's episode, we're going to be doing a little Q&A with Jacob that our patrons have submitted. We also do little bonus sections, like in last week's episode, we did a bit of a rig rundown with a new bass, and I've gone back to the Quad Cortex, so I was messing around with that as opposed to what I've been doing with the Anagram for the past couple of months. So that's our lovely Tier 2 section. And if you're a Tier 2 member, your question will always be answered to a guest, so it gives you direct access to our lovely, lovely guests like Jacob, for example. Finally, Tier 3 grants you everything we've just talked about, but it also enters you into our lovely monthly giveaways, and you also get a shout-out from well-known internet social media connoisseur, Mr. Jonny Dibble, which he's going to do right now.
Wow, fantastic. With those giveaways that we mentioned, this week's giveaway, or for next week when it will be announced, is this right here that I've got in my hands. It is the Trondheim Audio Devices Scar Bass 1. This is essentially a multi-band drive pedal. Will it focus? Who knows? My face is too big. There we go. Ooh, it's so beautiful. Essentially, yeah, can compress the low end, mix in what frequencies you want, all in one simple pedal. Going in the box now, ready to go to one of these lovely people on our Tier 3 Patreon. I'm going to read out their names right now. Starting with Sandberg Basses Are the Best, Gray, Dan Scott, Chris Long, Jace the Bass, Jeremy Burtonshaw, ESP1, One Blade of Grass, Andy McMillan, John Patton, Peter Sillery, Tinder, Carlos Bonas, Jim Goldstein, Tom Kuistra, Daniel McColgan, Frank Bethel, Travis Williams, Kaddish D. Radish, Eric Molyneux, Charles Johnson, Daryl Hazelhurst Stevens, Alan Wadey, Alexander Sean, Ethan Eichhorn, Justin A., M.A. Maracas, Jonas on bass, Yost Crone, Mark W. Gosh, my brain just turned off then. And finally, Brett Linkowski. Wonderful, wonderful people there indeed. Of course, we'll be answering your questions that you've got in our Patreon segment that we film just after this episode. But yes, stay tuned for next week, where one of these lovely people and anyone else that joins in the meantime will be in with the chance of winning one of those. Lovely. I want to finish off, chaps, before we go into said mentioned segment. Jacob, you were talking obviously about your project that's going to be coming out maybe this year. Yeah. Is there any details you can give us? And talk to us a little bit about kind of the differences in, you know, what you enjoy about playing for other artists and how that's different than what you're doing now.
Yeah. So I have a project called Gia, which is myself, Sam Jacobs, who used to play guitar for Intervals, our singer Christian Perez, and our keyboard player Alan Hankers, and Nathan Bulla, who's our studio drummer. And it's kind of like progressive metalcore kind of thing. We're changing the name, which I haven't announced yet, but so we're just kind of doing a rebrand on that. Then it's going to be like a whole new thing. But yeah, we have a bunch of new music that's coming out. It's like kind of like the first time we're like, you know, it's like my band, you know, it's not like I'm playing for anyone else, where it's like, yeah, you know, it's everybody's writing, but it's like, you know, the band that I'm in, you know, it's not like I'm playing for any other artist. It's my thing. So I'm really excited about that. I do a lot of the songwriting. And yeah, it's kind of like progressive, I guess kind of like progressive metalcore kind of stuff, but like hyper progressive. So it's yeah, I'm very, very excited about it. Just to, I'm really into songwriting, and you know, with what I do on my day to day, which is like playing a lot for other artists, and doing a lot of this technical stuff, it's nice to just have like an outlet to kind of get that out because, yeah. So what you were saying with like, you know, playing for other artists, you know, it's a lot of the stuff is instrumental with intervals. It's yeah, it's very instrumental, and that's cool. It definitely scratches that like technical itch, and also it's great songwriting. But the thing that I like, you know, I'm passionate about is like, just like having my own project and also like having a singer, like, so because I write a lot of the lyrics for this new thing, so it's kind of a new avenue for me in terms of like, you know, expression, I guess. But yeah, it's really cool. I'm really excited about it just because again, it's like people know me from playing, like I play for like intervals, I've done for Poppy, Ollie Steele, Clayton King, all these, you know, crazy instrumental artists, and it's just going to be nice to, you know, have my own thing, and doing the whole instrumental thing is cool, but I don't know, like having a band with that's not instrumental, it just definitely scratches like a different itch for me.
Yeah.
That's always been the thing, you know. I kind of just fell into the instrumental world, like that whole thing, and I love it, and I never plan to not do it, but I've always wanted to have like a band, you know, and I a couple like later last year, I went on stage and I did a song just for fun. I played a song with Loathe, which was cool. And just seeing that and just seeing how the crowds respond to that kind of thing, it's just a different vibe than the instrumental thing, and it's definitely something I want to explore more. But yeah, yeah, it's going to be a new project, same members, but we're just kind of rebranding it a little bit. But it's definitely the most excited I've been about a release for sure.
Hell yeah. I guess it's like I say, it's more of an emotional connection that people can have to lyrics and vocals that they can sing along to.
I mean, yeah, I've played enough with intervals to see what that music has on people, like the effect that music can have on people, and it's unbelievable. Like when people, it's the same thing, like it's like if it's not word, it's like the melody, and they'll sing it back to you, and it's amazing. And it's not really it's a for me thing, it's not really for a crowd thing, because the crowd is the crowd, and I love the intervals crowds, and I love the effect that our music has on people, but it's mainly a me thing. It's just me being like, I wanted to be in a band with a singer. That's all it is. And that's all I've always wanted to do that. And now that we, you know, it's kind of gonna happen. Like we put out some music last year or a couple of years ago, and you know, I've had this. It's crazy, man. Like I've seen people do like bass covers of it. It's weird, but this is kind of going to be like nope, this is it. This is what it's always supposed to be. This is what it was always supposed to sound like. And yeah, very excited for it.
The final form is on us.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could finish us off. I was going to say that doesn't sound quite right.
Wow.
Finish off the pod. Yeah, the grand finale by talking through a couple of tips, I suppose, that you would have for anyone that is, you know, because there's obviously going to be a lot of people looking up to you and with what you're doing, and then, you know, inspiring people out there. What would be, if someone wanted to go and do a similar line of work to you in terms of performing for other people or being in original bands, what advice would you give them?
Oh man, make sure you work with people that you're comfortable around, not just making music, because if you're touring, it's not really about the hour you're on stage. It's about the 23 that you're either trapped in a studio or trapped in a bus or at a festival or in a green room. So make sure you're around people that you enjoy, you know, not just musically. And I'd say, yeah, that's a tough one. I'd say just, you know, comparison is cool, you know, getting good at, you know, obviously it's good to look up to people, but just focus on yourself. That's one thing that I kind of learned It took me a while to learn, like when I was at music school, especially, there were so many people who were trying to do the same thing as me, who like, I would just look at them like, that person's better than me. I'll never be like that. And it's just the whole comparison thing is just like, just focus on yourself, focus on the things that make you happy, that you want to get better at, and you'll have a much better time just existing, not even outside of music. But yeah, because there's the stuff that I do and the stuff that we do in this kind of corner of the music world, it can be kind of intimidating, and people will be like, oh, I'll never be able to play like that, or I'll never just go. Just try it. Don't be like, I can't do the thing this person can't do, so I'm not. Just do your own thing, learn at your own pace, know that there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of time, but the whole comparison thing, it can be really unhealthy in it, and it can be more, and sometimes it can do a lot more harm than good. So I'd say just focus on yourself, and that's I think that's it.
I think that is an excellent quote to finish up on, my dude. Well,
cool.
Well
Couldn't agree more.
Absolutely. Yeah. Right. We're going to head over to the Patreon now and answer some of your questions. However, first of all, we do have to put you through your paces a little bit.
Okay.
Because we're going to give you some quick fire questions. Okay. Before we do that, we do have to preface this with a question before the quick fires is, how are you a big Star Wars man?
Depends. Like,
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. I've seen a bunch of the movies. I like some of the like really deep lore, but yeah, I don't know. It depends. It depends on the day.
Sure thing. Well, we might be able to get away with that one. But is there another kind of pop culture thing that
like a
you
series
really
of
like?
shows or films?
Oh, Marvel. Yeah, Marvel
All
for
right.
sure. Marvel.
Done.
it is.
Right. Okay.
Done. We can
Keep that in the
can-
corner of your mind. We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay. Here we go. Chris, do you want to kick us off?
I'll kick you off. Let's go. Okay. Question 1. You are not allowed to elaborate. You must answer the question and only give your answer. Jacob Umansky.
Yeah.
Pick or fingers?
Fingers.
Very good. Very good. Question number 2. Active or passive?
Active.
Question number 3. Rounds or flats?
Rounds.
If you had said flats then, I would have launched out my chair.
What?
Cut.
Wait, what? The secret to Jacob Umansky's tone. Well,
Tape
I might have to,
rounds.
yeah, I might have to change this next question.
No, you're not
actually.
allowed. No.
Yeah.
Keep the question
Wait, so
as it is.
All right.
I'm not.
Right.
Yeah, so I can't elaborate. You can't change the question. What are we doing?
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Shut up, Johnny.
Question number 4: 4-string or 5?
6.
There we go.
No, 5.
5. Nice.
Absolutely 5.
Perfect.
Oh, it's me. Question number
is.
5. You're on stage. Would you rather be on in-ears or would you rather be on wedges?
In ears.
Fair enough.
Perfecto. Number 6: a P or a J?
Oh, Jay.
Question number
Absolutely.
7. What is your desert island base?
Mine.
Mine.
Axe base.
Yeah, my ding
Axe
wall.
bears.
Yeah, the axe base. Yeah, no, I would have to say mine. I'd say there's a difference between I'm elaborating. So there's like a Grail base and there's like a desert island base, but the desert island base would be mine for sure.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Well
That's
said.
fair.
Well
Johnny.
said. What is the best bass effect?
Ooh, I don't know, because I would say distortion, because that's I need that to sound like me, but I like a good like synth pedal. I just got the MXR synth pedal and I just love fucking around with it. It's so fun.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
That's
I'd say
fair.
a good bass synth just for enjoyment, but I don't know. I guess if you had for me, it would be a drive, like an overdrive.
It's totally fair.
Fine.
Question number 9. Give us your bass hot take or your unpopular opinion.
Oh man, I don't know.
Would you like some examples?
Yeah, sure.
So
Yeah.
Jonny famously, as I keep bringing up, said octave pedals are overrated. We've also had we've had a lot of like Jacko isn't actually that interesting as a bass player at all, and also like
Jacko needed six.
I don't. Yeah, Jacko
Okay,
needed.
here.
Yeah,
I got it. I got one. I got it. P basses are to Motown is what Dingwall is to metal, and people shouldn't like, you know what I mean? It's like that's the thing that people use. That's the thing people use. It shouldn't be it shouldn't be like everyone uses this. Oh, really? Does everyone uses a Strat when they play the blues? It's like, you know what I mean?
Mostly, yeah. You know what? He's bang on. He's bang on. You're not wrong. You're not even remotely wrong there.
It doesn't have to be the tool for the job, you know? Like, it's just a different flavor at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Nice. And finally, probably our most important questions we've established.
Everything in your career has led to this moment. Everything.
Oh, God.
What Marvel character would be the best bass player?
Oh, that's sick. That's
good, isn't
tough, dude. Oh, my goodness.
I'm going to think of one as well. I'll try to.
That's tough.
We've had some good ones. We've had Star Wars characters. We've had my personal favorite so far has been the Muppets. Which Muppets character?
Yeah, that's crazy. I'd say maybe the Prowler. Like, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Underrated.
Yeah.
I
Thingy
can
Majig's uncle. Yeah.
I just seen him. Yeah, I can, and like just by his little cameo in I don't know. I feel like Prowler could probably lay it down pretty hard.
Yeah,
I think that's a really great answer.
That's a good one because it's not like a front runner. You know,
you've really low key like massively like flexed your Marvel knowledge there as well. You kind of like shit tested me and Jonny as well. Then like, wait, what character is that? And I'm like, I know what character this is. I've played the Miles Morales PlayStation 4 game.
Yeah,
dude, that's a good one. Kind of, you know, understated in the shadows kind of thing, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And then when he like reveals himself, he's like oh, okay, dude, you know.
Yeah,
he's like that's like you're on like a really long like 2-hour bar gig or whatever, and the bass player is just like chilling by the keyboard player, just laying it down, and then like for like a couple of seconds someone says, oh, make some noise for Thingy on the bass, and they just fucking rip some double thumb ridiculous
brings
thing,
the claws out.
Like, damn.
I know, and everyone just suddenly goes, oh shit, where was that guy?
Exactly.
Yeah, and then he disappears back into the shadows. Like,
exactly.
Could you say the same thing? Say the same thing for the Punisher as well, kind of disappearing, but also in a world of people with, you know, all these insane abilities, managed keeping up, you know, with everyone else.
Very true.
Yeah, that is true, but
I fear the Punisher. I fear the Punisher goes too hard. You know, like
it would be a thing. That's the thing where it's like with the Prowler, like he knows, like, all right, cool, I'm gonna back out. With the with Frank Castle, like you give that guy, all right, Frank, come out, bring out Frank Castle for a bass solo. He does the bass solo, and it just like 15 minutes later, he's just like, dude, all right, enough. All right, come on, like, we're done. You're done here. But
Frank Castle is what people get what people think they're going to get when they book you for a session recording. They get the Prowler.
Yeah, man's on the prowl.
Yeah.
Stunning. Chris, anyone else that you think would be a good one?
I don't know. I stopped, to be honest. Once you said the Prowler, I was like, that's such a sick answer.
Like,
and then I just stopped. I just stopped thinking of like characters. Oh, you know, all right. You know what? I'm going to just, for no reason at all, I'm going to say Moon Knight would be a really good bass player. Specifically, the two sides of, I forgot his name. The main character, I forgot the guy's name. Because you could have
one of them uses flats and one of them uses rounds.
Yeah. It's like sensible, reserved. And then he puts the costume on and it's like Proco Rat, no blend. Super fresh strings, active preamp with a pick.
Yeah, exactly. Just goes from the P bass to the NG.
I know, yeah, NG free, blah blah blah, and then immediately dips back into like Pinot, like ooh, gone.
Yeah.
Right. Johnny, what about you? What about you?
Well, I gave mine. I was going with Frank Castle.
Oh, sorry, you're going with Frank Castle. Okay,
yeah.
That's fair.
I could definitely see him ripping a P bass for sure, like a super.
I was going to say Frank Castle's
relic P bass.
Yeah.
Nah. It's like Frank Castle plays a Rickenbacker. I don't care what anyone says.
He's basically just Lemmy now, isn't he?
He's Lemmy.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know about that because I can't.
No, he might play like a pawn shop P bass, where it's like it's his.
That's what I mean. Like you really picture fucking Frank Castle listening to like Rush and Yes and like all
but he listens
Rickenbacker bands.
None of that garbage. I'm thinking like Motorhead.
I guess.
Yeah,
I guess.
I don't think Frank Castle enjoys a bit of Roundabout from time to time. No,
just secretly. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Okay. Those are all sick answers, though. Hell yeah.
We could talk all day. Let's continue it over on patreon.com. Thank you so much, Jacob, for coming on and blessing us with your
Thank you for having me.
It's been an amazing time to have you on in the flesh, kind of in the flesh.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
One day, somehow.
What's going on in your life? Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Instagram.com/Jacob Umansky. My plugin Umansky bass is available through Submission Audio. You can pre-order my signature bass, The Soul, through Dingwall Guitars at dingwallguitars.com. Intervals is going on tour with Carnival in Europe and the UK, April, May. So you can catch us there. And yeah, hit me up to play bass. Let's go.
Let's go, baby. Stunning. A bit of admin before we sign off. If you liked what you heard today, obviously go and follow Jacob on all of those platforms and everything that he does. You can also help us out by clicking like on this video or rating this podcast with 5 stars. It really helps us to reach more and more lovely people to bring them into the fold of this wonderful community. If you like community that little bit more, though, you can go ahead and join us on Patreon, where you can help keep the lights on here with one of our 3 tiers. So click the links down in the description to check it out for yourself. Chris, where can people find you?
Who cares, man? Who cares? No, I'm kidding. You can find me literally everywhere under That Guy on Bass. I'll tell you right now, there's supposed to be a YouTube video out. I probably won't do it this week. It'll be the week after. We'll just see, won't we? Johnny, where can the lovely people find you?
The anticipation is killing me, man.
Now that is self-promotion. I don't care if you follow me.
Follow me, just Google my name, Jonny Dibble, on YouTube and Instagram, and that is the one. Lovely stuff. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Tatty bye.